that you really just want to do your kata. So the kata needs to be so trained that it's what comes out. And then the issues that will change whether that's relevant or not are what we're going to look at across this year. So the first one is to say what happens with the distance between two opponents. For instance, you'll often see things like this, and we'll think about that as one particular kind of distance, but look, that was barely going to touch me, and as such, is it something that I actually need to respond to? So, what you'd see is that even with this straight punch attack, which again, lots of people are going to say no one ever does that, but even with this straight punch attack, what we'll have is, if we just start back there a fraction, and then the punch comes in, you'll see that there's this range, which is useful for timing exercises, to see whether I can match the exact time of the punch coming in. Or there's this range, which might be a little bit more damaging, if that's what we want it to be. And then there's this range, which might do us a little bit more of a favour. And then there's this range, which is a little bit more direct with what we're doing. And then there's this range, where we're now encroaching fully into their space. And then there's, if you just take a step back to where you started, this range, where we don't actually allow him to do the thing that he wanted to do at all. That's taking that simple outward form of the first move that most of us ever learn. Now, as soon as you turn it into something that doesn't rely on a straight punch coming from Zenkutsudachi from two people who have started very formally, but you work it from here, then I don't know what attack is going to come. If we train that it's going to be the big right hook just to start us off with, then we can have a little bit of an expectation. And we might even start relatively slowly so that we can get the hang of this idea. Then all we do is we look at any particular move that you want to look at. Right now we started off with this one, so we'll just carry on with this one for a moment. Let's say that that hook starts to come and I wait for it. And then I do the Gidan Barai. Well, I could do it there, but that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Or I could just take that hand and put it there, and that makes a bit more sense. But the move's two-handed. Why do we spend all that time drilling like this if I'm just going to take that and do that? Well, because I might go here, and then come here, and then come down. So you begin to see how my expectation of the range that I'm working at is going to affect the application. Let's go back to that long Zenkutsu, please, and we might see something like this demonstrated. And that then gives me a knee up and a kick through here from Basai Dai. Or if we're here, I could do the same kind of thing, but now the range has changed it entirely. Or I can fully enter the situation, and now the range has changed everything, except the shape that I'm making, which is to come in here and do this. So the key here is that if I've got one shape that I've been trained in, I'm going to do that shape. It's going to be what comes out. But I have to be trained enough to do it no matter what the situation. What if it's not a hook? What if he comes in with an uppercut? I'm still going to come in and do that same thing. What if it comes in with an uppercut and my first thing's a flinch, and then I come to here? Well, that's okay, we can still work that way. Oh, knee, okay. So, if that's the shape that I've been trained to make, then that's the shape I'm going to make, no matter what the range. What if he comes in with a rugby tackle? And we get this shoot and sprawl reaction, and then I slide this up under here. and if I'm unlucky enough to lose that arm, then it's just a dropping motion. If I'm lucky enough to keep it, then we're going to set here, set here, set here, and get something, you can see we're ready to tap, much tidier, well, less tidy to look at, but much tidier in what we do to them. And it all comes down to, if I train this action, then that's the action I'm going to take at whatever the range is that happens.